This is a tight right bite with LaFaye. Today, let's talk about what we bring to the table as writers. One of the things that we bring to the table that no one else does is our own perspective. So, whether you're describing your breakfast, the sound of birds, something as simple and familiar as the nail on your pinky toe. Whatever it is, you are the only one who can describe it in your own way. For instance, I've often thought stepping into freshly fallen snow that has the satisfying thin layer of frozen dew. Sounds like biting into a styrofoam cup. Even if I'm not really sure how to spell styrofoam. This is a description that is unique to me. It isn't poetry, it isn't fiction, it isn't anything, but an imagery based exploration of something familiar to me. Hoarfrost is like the trees slipped on a sweater overnight. It's probably no big surprise that I grew up in Wisconsin. As a result, I had a lot of exposure to very cold things. Hoarfrost, for instance, is something that rarely happens in Wisconsin, but it happens even less often in climates that are warmer. So, what is it about your writing that you can share, your world experiences, your life experiences, that you can share in the way you describe things? For instance, I could never forget you. This is true. It's emotionally powerful as an idea. But the problem is, that's a very familiar way of phrasing it. It's also a very common idea that's not very concrete. So, how can you make I could never forget you into something that is concrete and memorable for your readers, like the person or animal who cannot be forgotten? Um, and I think the specificity of detail or the unique turn of an image is how we can show the world we know in a unique and surprising way to our readers. And that's exactly what we want to do with our writing. So, let's see what happens when I try my hand at I could never forget you. The way you twisted a napkin. Has been knotted into my memory. To this day, I wish I could send you a car to pick you up in heaven and drive you to wherever you want to go. The prom, the year you never went. The store that sells your favorite cherry-filled pastries, or our front door. I'll be waiting on the porch with a cup of steaming chai. Now, mine is a lot longer, I'll give you that, but it shows you the relationship between these people. It doesn't necessarily say, this is my grandma, this is my mom, this is my dad, this is the person I will love romantically forever. But it does show us the emotional connection, and that's what we're looking for. So, let's see. The way you twisted a napkin shows us physical actions, allows us to imagine the person who is gone. Oops, and this should be speaking of your weight. In the cold for the ride. And we're like, what ride? To the prom that never came. Ah! The fact that prom never came relates to prom. It modifies prom here and not ride. But the reality is the prom never came and the ride never, because the ride never came. And because we have a twisted napkin, we're knotted into memory. To this day, I wish I could send you a car to pick you up in heaven. Because you want to rescue them from this sad memory. And also, by saying in heaven, we know the person died, and drive you wherever you want to go. The prom of the year you never went. The store that sells your favorite cherry-filled pastries. Here we get an idea of what this person is like. Or our front door. They live together. I'll be waiting on the porch with a steaming cup of chai. Notice the intimacy difference between I'll never forget you and what you physically and emotionally will not forget. So, when you're writing, share unique images that only you can share because of your experiences and your view of life. And when you talk about emotions, make them concrete, make them relational, and find ways to say these things as only you can. You know your story. Share it with specificity and unique insight. This has been a tight right bite from LaFaye at Sylvanosity.